Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Kylie Swain and I'm from Blossom Designs here in Australia. So today we are doing the September Whimsy and Wonder tutorial, and this is what I've made for you. Just simple, one bit of stamping and die cutting of the DSP, which, let's move that out of the way, which is this gorgeous sheet of paper. And you will have your coordinating die pieces. So I have cut this one out already to save a bit of time, but what you would do is get your die and match it up with the tree, run it through your die cutting machine, and this is the end result. So no, well, apart from the sentiment, there's next to no stamping in this card today, so a fairly simple and easy card. Let me just pull this off. So if you're using washi tape, my tip to you is to just do it on a table would be better, but to grab your washi tape and just run it across, just slowly, just flat across, like you're not lifting it, you're just running it straight across the paper, and then you will find that you won't tear this paper. If you lift it up, sometimes it can grab a hold of the paper, and it becomes a bit of a mess after that, doesn't it? Alright, so let's get started. So in your kit, you are going to have your card base, which is mint macaron. You're going to have 2 of the white layers. I call this layer 1. They are both the same size. You're going to have another piece of mint macaron. You're going to have another piece of basic white. I remembered not to say whisper white today. And you are going to use your banner picker punch if you have it. If not, some paper snips, and then you will just cut out that corner piece or the end piece, and then you're going to have another mint macaron piece which will go underneath this white one. So let's get started, but before I do that, I will just show you. Let's just get these out of the way. So you're going to have these 3 trees, which on the DSP piece you will see them here. So they're scattered around. You can use these bigger ones as well, but I've used the smaller ones, so I've just cut with paper snips. As you can see, I have already gone through this sheet of DSP, but just cut out the triangle, and with your paper snips it's easy, no fuss about that. And then you will see with this piece, well, that's not a proper tree, is it? No. What it is, it's, because I've cut into this DSP, it's the edge of the paper. So say this was lined up this way, so it's the edge of the paper, which is good because we're going to have this on the edge of the white layer. So you would have cut the side piece, cut this down this line anyway, so it's going to sit just like that on this white layer. Okay, so what we're going to do Now you can glue or adhere this the white layer to your base card, and then you can build up your layers. If you don't wish to do that, then work from your white layer and then work up. Totally up to you. Right, let me get all my pieces together. So I'm going to start, I'm going to move my base card out of the way though. I'm going to start with the mint macaron layer, the large layer. So I said this was roughly about 1 3/4 inches. And about 4.4 centimeters above. You can make this as long or as short, but just remember that you've got these tall trees and they need to have space at the top, so you don't want to be doing it all the way up here. So come down to about there, and then you're just going to adhere this layer. Now I use liquid glue. If you prefer dry glue, then you go for that. Liquid glue is my choice. If you want, I just grab mine. Should have had this out before. You can use your grid lines to line up as well. Make sure I don't get glue all over myself. So line your card up along this line and the bottom. Just move. And then I say about here. So I'm going to line that up there, and I'm using this line here as my guide. So I know that this is now straight. Then, let's get all my pieces up here now. You're going to grab your little triangle trees and just place them down. Don't adhere them yet. Place them down and disappearing under there. Grab your trees, your tall trees as well. Then what you're going to do is they're just going to peek out in between your bigger trees. Like so. So you can have them hiding. It's just filling in that white space really. And I'm going to have this tree is going to be a bit lower. Okay, so happy with how they look. So then I'm going to grab my glue and just flipping them over, just grab a little bit of liquid glue. Now if you want to, grab your tree back and just make sure that it's where you want it to be. If you need to adjust, the liquid glue is a great glue for that. So again, flipping this over, grabbing some glue, putting that back down. And the third one. So the more liquid glue you put down, the more time you have to wriggle and move your piece, because it takes that little bit longer for the glue to dry, but that's perfect. I've got it in the right spot. Okay. Right, so next we are going to stick down this tree. So what I'm going to do is, from about here, I'm just going to glue sort of on this area, so I know that that's roughly around here. And then line that up on the side and just press that down. See how I can wobble that around, move it, so then I can make sure that I've got it lined up right against that edge. And then this tree, just going to lift that. Oh, I can't get my nails under there now. Lift that edge up so that it just tucks behind, just ever so slightly. And that's going to stay there. And now this tree I actually raised with dimensionals and grab them out of my drawer. I forgot to get them out. So you can line this up to where you want your tree to go, and I sort of roughly had them, they're not level, but I roughly had them towards each other, so you will see that. Now I did put a small one of the mini glue dots, one of the mini dimensionals at the top. And just grab my little bin here for dimensional backings. Now I'm just going to place that down. Just like so. Okay, so now we're going to work on the sentiment. And I have a scrap piece of paper. Now in the instructions here I have got a scrap piece for sentiment down the bottom here on each of the imperial and metric. So any scrap that you've got, I think the end measurement is 5.5 0.4 centimeters by 1.9 and 2 1/8 by 3/4 of an inch. So that's the end measurement for the sentiment. So I'm going to grab my stamp and my ink pad. Now I do think with my mint macaron, and I'm just trying to, there it is, just trying to find, my desk is a shambles I think. I grab my block and I just pull my ink to one side. I find that my ink pad is really juicy, so I don't know whether you can see the difference. You've got light and then you've got this pool of dark down the bottom here. We want to ink up the light bit. All the way off the screen, aren't I? And it might even be upside down. It is. There we go. That's okay. We are just going to cut this out. Now you can use paper snips if you want to cut out your sentiment. If you are worried that you can't cut straight, the easiest thing I do is grab a ruler and a pencil, there it is, and I measure. Now I don't know that I can even zoom in. Nope, I can't zoom in. Okay, I will bring the piece of paper up to the camera for a closer look. So I'm going to line up the lines here because they're straight. The L is actually higher than this, so if I line that up you can see that the loop of the L. So I'm going to line my lines up, and then even if you want to be, you know, right in the center of that, you can see, and just put a line across, and then working off this line I'm going to line up this 3/4 inch line. Where are we? There we go, and draw across there. So a little bit off, but we'll work around it. So what I like to do is I'll get this line here, and I'm eyeballing as to where that is. I'm just going to cut this piece down a bit. Okay. Now I can work with this shorter piece. I don't think that's entirely straight. So I'm usually hovering over. If I hover over, I'll put my head in the way. So that's about as straight as I'm going to get it, which is fine. And I'm just going to cut off these end pieces and cut it down a bit, and then you have your sentiment piece ready to go. So let's bring this back in. Now if you're comfortable with doing this, I suggest not adhering the base card just yet, because you want to be able to get this panel right to the edge so that it will line up on this edge. Okay, so hold off on your base card if you can. But right now, my other piece is gone. So what I will do is grab, that's the right way, grab this, and this piece is going to sit in the middle and just poke over this edge here, the banner edge. So again, use your grid paper here if that helps you. I am just eyeballing. That looks about centered to me. Then grab your sentiment, and then that's just going to sit about 1/8 of an inch. So what, 3-4 mil, 3 mil from the bottom of this white panel. So let's grab the glue, put that on. If you want to raise this piece, by all means use the dimensional. And then adhere that down. Just give that time to set, and then this is going to go here, and I did use dimensionals in here. So this piece here that is going to sit on the tree, you will use glue, liquid glue. So let's get some glue just on here, and then I'm just going to use mini, where did I put that away? Oh, it's over there. I find it easier to grab the mini dimensionals with this, or your take a pick tool. This one's handy for me. So I'm just going to line this up, and I know that I need to put a few down here. There we go. Bring my dimensional rubbish bin back in. Oops, that one came off. I'm going to see how long it takes me to fill this this rubbish bin up. Might take a while. Okay, so again, so I'm centering this in this mint macaron panel as best as I can. Again, if you want to use your grid paper, so those dimensionals will hold that down, and then your glue will hold this side down once it's set. But that just raises that up. Can you see there? Holding it the wrong right angle. There we go. Okay. So now all I do is go back in. If you've got your trimmer handy, this is handy for me. few layers. Doesn't work so well, but there we go, we have that. Now we can adhere this to the base card. And just give a even border around. Trying to look through my phone and around my phone, so hopefully just got some glue on there. That's all right, we'll get that off. Hopefully that's all even. And then we have some rhinestones to put on. So, grabbing your take a pick tool. Now, as you can see, I put some rhinestones on the tops of the tree. You don't have to do that. I think I might just stick with putting one on the main tree, because that's the one that's got dimensions on it. So that's raised, and then just a scattering of rhinestones around. I always like to put one somewhere round near the sentiment. So that's the front of the card done. So that was easy, that was simple. Then the inside, let's just scoot that out of the way, because you're going to have another tree. So just like I've cut one of the trees from the DSP and use that, feel free to do that. I actually, is this one of the DSP? No, it's not. I think I stamped this one maybe. And I'm just going to use this, so I'm going to have it so that it comes off the edge, and then we'll trim that down. So don't adhere it to your base card just yet, which I don't need to go. Don't need to put glue over the whole thing. Okay, I'm just going to lift that up because I've got glue on one piece, one bit that's hanging off. Just press that down, get it straight, and then grabbing your paper snips, cut that off, bring your card base back in, grab your glue again, and then just adhere it down again, just with a nice even border. And then if you've got a sentiment you want to put inside there, I leave mine blank, and then fill it in. I'll get that bit of glue off in a minute. But that's it, we're done. It was that simple. So don't forget you've got the gorgeous Whimsy and Wonder bundle. So you've got the Whimsical Trees stamp set and the Christmas tree dies. So I do, as you can see, I've had a bit of fun. When I cut pieces out, I generally leave them, look, there's a tree there I could have used. I generally leave them in my stamp case. That one goes in there. And this is how I store my dies. I get a magnetic sheet that I just purchased from eBay, and then it sits in my stamp case. My stamps, I don't usually mount the labels. I find them too sticky, so for me, having the labels here tells me if I'm missing a stamp, so I know that obviously I've used that today. I will clean that and then put that back. So that's it from me today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you know, you want to query a measurement or anything, just pop me a message. I will help you out in any way I can, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you again next time. Take care. Bye.